And, when people say democracy mein ho nahi sakta, ye wo, right in the same democracy in this country, Gadkari has made it happen. So, really, Mr. Gadkari, we want to... and now, when we talk of infrastructure, I am astonished when we hear him speak sometimes. Now he talks about waterways. Now it's not only green economy, now talks about the blue economy also. Now multimodal transport, national logistic policy. I mean, a government that gets things done. Those days, once upon a time, people used to say, let the government get out of the way, and we will do. No. Government can't get out of the way. Government has to make things happen, not by running companies, but by enabling entrepreneurship and enabling things like this to happen. By the way, when these kind of roads come up 50,000 kilometers, transport becomes easier, GST makes sure that your logistic costs become lesser, there are no octroi posts. Cost of goods comes down, India becomes competitive, exports go up, manufacturing goes up, all that story. So I told you 3 factors, entrepreneur, government, investment in infrastructure. 4th factor is digital. I was in US last week, and I was just watching some people pay. Either pull out credit card, debit card and pay, or people pay cash, at the normal retailer, etc., etc. Now, I was looking at them and you call me third world country, boss. You're third world country, I'm first world country. And this is a matter of huge pride that our country is, at least on digital transaction, through NEFT, RTGS, Bharat Bill Pay Services, credit card, debit card, UPI. Sometimes people say, kya hua desh mein, kya badla? You see the road, people at Bhajiwalas and all the people, roadside people are using UPI. Now on that UPI is just not a digital transaction activity. Now on that, because trail is established, because for a long time India kept saying inclusive economy. I've heard this for 30 years of my life, and I'm sure it's been happening before my days also. But for the first time, India's actually doing inclusive economy. So let me say the 5th reason why India is going to become successful is because India is looking at a truly inclusive economy. It's not just the large reforms like GST and IEC, which are all big, important things, but also developing inclusive economy at the bottom of the pyramid. All of us know that India has, given under the Ujjwala program, given LPG connections, given electricity connections, given bank accounts. India had 400 million people without bank accounts until maybe 10 years ago. Can you imagine? It's like living in the 15th century or 14th century. That time also people didn't have bank accounts. Today also they didn't have bank accounts, right? So only now in the last 7 years it's got fixed. So now the new term of inclusive is not really opening bank accounts, because that's an achievement already done. Now the new term of inclusive economy is inclusive credit, inclusive insurance, so that every people get insurance, inclusive mutual funds, so that people are able to invest in markets, etc. So this is the 5th factor. I mentioned 4. The 5th factor is developing an inclusive country, and this is something that India is doing it. India has to stay at the cutting of it, and no amount of inclusion has happened. Despite all the talk and effort and priority sector and all that, nothing happened except the last few years after digitization happened and a continuous effort to make it happen. I'm telling you, there is no call from this government ever to say that lend to this company or lend to that company. There's never, neither our bank nor any bank in the country is getting it. That's wonderful, really. It really makes for a super clean, decision-making processes which are purely on merit, but there is direction, there is intervention to say that we should be in this a part of the economy. The other day I heard the finance minister speak that India has lent 23 lakh crores under the Mudra program. Could you have imagined? In earlier days, if you had given 23 lakh crores, I can tell you 20% of them will be NPA only. Now, hardly an NPA. We are lending and 23 lakh crores under 3 programs. Okay, there was a Shishu program, which was less than 50,000 rupee lending. Then there was that Tarun program, which was 50,000 to 5 lakh rupee lending. And then there was, there's one more after that. And that was above 5 lakh to 10 lakh. In these 3 categories, India's lending is about 23 lakh crores. And performing fantastically well. I'm telling you right now in this forum, you can see a public investor presentation for our bank. We have lent close to 30 million customers in the last maybe 10 years or 12 years of our existence. And delinquency is hardly there. Poor people repayment is fantastic. Fantastic to say the least. NPA in this segment, credit loss in this segment is just about 1 to 1.5%. Collection is running like 99.5%. And therefore, this amount of inclusion that has happened is one of the more powerful reasons, because not entrepreneurship at the top, which we should do, is a great thing to do, but entrepreneurship even at the bottom, entrepreneurship at the top through PLI schemes, etc. But entrepreneurship at the bottom of the pyramid is also coming up beautifully in this country, and this is the sixth reason. I mentioned 5 reasons. The sixth reason is inclusive economy. The seventh reason, and that is probably my last reason, there are many more we can go on, but in the interest of time, is green economy. I heard Minister once talk about one sentence he spoke, really stuck on my mind. He used the term, Jal, Jungle, Jameen, Janwar. Okay, Minister said that to us right now. Thank you very much. Just think about the power of that thing. Jal, Jungle, Jameen, Janwar. Okay, now developing a green economy because it's just not GDP and tall buildings and, Manhattan kind of buildings. It's all about Jal, Jungle, Jameen, Janwar. So if you think about that, let me call that the seventh big reason why India is looking good for us. I really feel that this is one of the rare moments in our lives and lifetimes when, we also have a strong government and also have a reformist government. ऐसा normally मिलता नहीं है किसी को, मतलब पता नहीं how many countries get a government like that for 20, 30 years at a stretch, whatever. Because sometimes you can have a very strong government but can have it ideologically taking you left and leaning and doing poverty-in methods and redistributing poverty all over the place. And we've seen that also. Sometimes you can have a strong government, you can have a weak government who wants to reform but cannot do. The other day I was speaking to Shekhar Gupta, talking of this thing of, getting things done. He told one story about our former Prime Minister, very beloved person, Mr. Vajpayee ji. He said that someone once talked to him. He was getting one very important reform done. And at that time, it was a difficult reform, important but very difficult because a lot of populist things were going around. So someone told him that Vajpayee ji, ये तो नहीं करना चाहिए, Parliament में बहुत हल्ला हो जाएगा. Look at his response. He said, आप हल्ला में clear कर दीजिए. So something, entrepreneurial government gets things done. Our government is getting things done. We are very delighted. We can see the 7 things I told you about entrepreneurial government is that green economy includes all the things I told you. So I think that we are in a very, these are some very powerful reasons. There are many more, but we lost a lot of time. I told you that to be a $400 economy, $350, when others are running $7,000 is a big wasted opportunity for our country. But now we should do it because we can see our people are still poor, a good portion of India is still poor, and if you want to come out, we need this. And I read Mr. Amitabh Kant's book recently, by the way. It's a wonderful, absolutely beautiful book. If if those who haven't read it must go through it. Lastly, for our bank, just a quick 10 seconds, just to share with you that we are very, very focused. We're trying to build a really world-class bank. I don't claim we are there yet. We're a new bank, but we have kept our aspiration to build a world-class bank. Made a profit over 2,400 crores last year, so we've massively turned around. And we are trying to build a truly, truly, truly clean bank, in terms of habits, practices, culture. It's very important. Those are foundation stones. And it is reflecting in all our products or services, So I really look forward to goodwill, and that's about it. So thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen.